According to the Cowboy, June 16th, several days after that horrible tragedy in Orlando, Florida. And Patrick, once again, we're getting new calls for gun control. Some people even saying we should just scrap the Second Amendment altogether.
Yeah, it's amazing how the Constitution comes into play with the left when it has to do with an issue they're very concerned about. I think we're treading in a little dangerous ground here. I think a lot of people who say they want to do away with the Second Amendment seem to think, well, the Second Amendment, you know, it was about muskets and it was about hunting, and no, it wasn't. It was about protecting yourself from the tyranny of the government. And I think that they would say, regardless of whether it's an AR-15 or a flintlock musket, you have the right to defend yourself.
Second Amendment, very simple. It's about 28 words, the last few of which are the right to bear arms shall not be infringed. Pretty simple.
Yeah, I don't know what part of it they don't understand. They say, well, the Founding Fathers didn't know about AR-15s. The Founding Fathers didn't know this. Yes, they did. They knew that their technology would soon surpass things, but they said that doesn't mean that you shouldn't be able to defend yourself. And again, defend yourself not just from the wild Indians on the frontier or defend yourself from somebody trying to kill you in your own home. It's to defend yourself against the tyranny of government, because that's what they were fighting against, an armed force in their country telling them what to do.
The messages that have been coming out from ISIS purportedly over the internet say, in effect, slaughter Americans any way you can, whether it be guns or knives or anything else. So now this guy had legally registered guns, we're told. What if he hadn't used guns? What if he had used knives? What if he had taken a butcher knife from the kitchen? Are we going to ban butcher knives next?
At the same time in the United States, when 49 Americans, not, you know, hyphenated Americans were killed, a French police officer being stabbed in the street, and his wife was taken in the house and she was tortured and then stabbed in front of their 3-month-old child. So I want to know what these people think. These are killers. A good killer is going to figure out some way to kill you. He'll beat you with a brick if he has to.
Right. And you have to ask yourself whether you're really a gun person or not. And I mean, there are people who like guns for sport. There are people who just want it for protection, whatever the reason. If now, when we have gun laws that are, I wouldn't say they're liberal, I would say they're tough, but they're going to get tougher. If we can't defend ourselves now, it's going to get tougher if they ban guns. Simple as that.
Look what happened in Australia. They confiscated guns, and the shootings went up because somebody found guns and they found a way to do it. Again, illegal people also, the criminal doesn't read the editorial in the New York Times and go, oh my gosh, they passed a new gun law, I guess we can't kill anybody tomorrow. And a lot of these legislators, especially here in California, that are talking about gun control, you know, here's a guy, I won't even mention his name, he's from Compton. Well, he's talking about gun control in Orlando, Florida. Well, how many people were killed in Compton last night? You know, I'd like to know that.
Right. You know, it's kind of a trite saying, if guns are outlawed, only outlaws will have guns, but it's not far from factual. Most crimes are committed with guns that are stolen or illegal. They're not, you know, duly registered. But ironically, most, in fact, of these mass shootings in the last few years have been carried out by either people who took a gun that was legally registered to someone else, or the gun was legal, the waiting period. In the case of this guy in Orlando, he was actually in the security business and working for a firm that did big business with Homeland Security. How ironic is that?
Everything went by the book. The gun store owner checked him out. And remember, the FBI, if you want to talk about dropping the ball, they dropped the ball because they had the guy in their sights twice and they let him off the hook. And it's my understanding that they tried to downplay people on this list, and they told the FBI, well, you know, let's not be too anti-Muslim in this thing. This isn't about being socially or politically correct. This is about survival. And if we're going to stand here and let these people kill us, I mean, I wonder, do the liberals really think they're going to somehow, a guy's going to come into a room and try and kill people, and they're going to wave their Democratic Party registration card, and he's going to not shoot them?
Do you think this is going to become a big issue in the campaign?
I think it is, because the left wants to make it one. They want to make this all about gun control. And I think, quite frankly, this helps Trump. As we were talking earlier, look who's buying guns now. Sales among gays and lesbians, gun sales among gays and lesbians have doubled at one guy's store in the last day.
So there you go. The Pink Pistols, is that the name of the group?
That's the group. And you know something? I'm in favor of them. If they want to come to the range, let's all have a party together and we'll compare weapons.
There you go. That's Patrick Dorranson, the Cowboy Libertarian. I'm Ed Crane. We'll have more. We're going to talk about Donald Trump and money problems he could be having. That sounds like a contradiction in terms, but we'll talk about it next.